Hello, welcome back to Classic Hits Gaming, your home of 80s, 90s and noughties gaming. This is my third session of Pac-Man. Sit back, relax, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the live stream. Now, as always, I need to do a few things before I kick off the live stream. I need to change the thumbnail of the live stream, and then I need to share the live stream. So please bear with me as I do that. Be less than 2 minutes. If there was a way I could do this before I go live, I would 100% do that, but unfortunately I cannot. I can do this when I'm recording from my phone, but unfortunately I can't do it when I'm recording from my PlayStation. It's just the way it is. Okay, I'm just going to share the live stream, and then I'll be ready to play some Pac-Man. Hope you're enjoying my Pac-Man live stream so far, and I want to take this time to once again thank you all for supporting Classic Hits Gaming. Your support means a lot. It's my pleasure to bring you these classic games. It really, really is. It really, really is. So yeah, hope you've been enjoying my Pac-Man live streams. I mean, it doesn't get any more classic than Pac-Man. Originally released in 1980 on the arcade. Simplistic game in every way. Simplistic visuals, simplistic objective, simplistic gameplay, but very tough to master that gameplay. Your objective, of course, is to eat all the dots on each maze while avoiding 4 colored ghosts to progress to the next maze. Sounds simple, but it is difficult to master. Now, I have actually adjusted the screen a lot more this time. I've actually kind of zoomed in a bit, stretched out the screen as best as possible. Pac-Man is still making a cameo, and there's one ghost as well. And I've also I've kept the scan lines in because this is pretty much, scan lines are pretty much how video games back in the 80s would have looked like on the monitors back then. And I also kept the sound to make it sound like it's got this kind of echoey effect. It's like walking into an arcade and hearing like all the different arcade games in the distance. You know, it's hard to explain, but once you hear it, you'll understand what I'm saying. So, see, it's like you just walked into an arcade. Ah. Okay, no, I'll actually wait a bit later to share some Pac-Man trivia. So we have Pac-Man trivia coming up soon. I hate when they trap you like that. Okay, Pac-Man trivia. What piece of Pac-Man trivia will I share next? Let me see. This is an interesting piece of trivia. You know how video games in 2024 are such complex creations? It takes a lot of people to make games nowadays. You're talking like hundreds of people all across the world, multiple studios, in fact, actually, make games these days. Well, what if I told you that Pac-Man was made by a team of less than 10 people? A 9-man team created Pac-Man. 9 people. Like 9 people in today's standard. Oh my days, let me think. Like it would probably take 9 people to make one sound effect or something. I don't know. But 9 people in today's standards is nothing. But 9 people made this game. 9 people made a household name. One of the godfathers of classic gaming. A game that predates Donkey Kong. A game that predates Nintendo, Sega, and Sony in the video game industry. 9 people made history. 9 people made video game history. That's actually fascinating. Just think of 9 people. Wow. I don't know why it went back. get you, Red Ghost. Ah, damn it. I actually have to pause it. What the hell? Huh. Yeah. I actually have to pause it because, yeah, I need to focus. Yeah, you need to focus when you're playing Pac-Man, so when you start talking, you know, you have to focus. But something I did speak about a few times. I spoke about this in every session of my Pac-Man live gameplay. But I'm going to say it again because it's me, isn't it? Johnny, you know, he repeats himself a lot. It's just who I am. But no, seriously, all joking aside, you know, Pac-Man is, as I said, it's one of the godfathers of classic gaming. It's a reminder that there was a time. It's a reminder of just how long video games were around, how long gaming has been around. There was a time before Nintendo, you know? That is like, that is something we just don't take notice of. I think a lot of us, we don't give Pac-Man the attention and respect it actually deserves. Like games like Pac-Man, you know, other games like Space Invaders as well. We don't appreciate these games. We don't appreciate the significance of these games. I mean, when we think of classic gaming, regardless of our age, regardless of the generation that we grew up in, we think of like, oh, classic games. Oh yeah, Super Mario Bros. Yeah. Or classic games, Spyro the Dragon, or whatever. So the original Grand Theft Auto, that's really classic, yeah. But like, it goes back. You know, gaming goes back well before Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo. It goes back to Pac-Man, you know, in 1980. I just think that is so significant. When you play Pac-Man, again, it just reminds us all just how long gaming has actually been around. You know, we kind of step out of our kind of self-contained, what's the word I'm looking for? We just, you know, we all have our favorite games and we all have our favorite consoles, and you know, just sometimes we just don't really kind of appreciate just how long video games have been around. You know, it's been a lot long. Video games have been around a lot longer than than we have. A lot of us have anyway, like, you know. So that is interesting. I'd say we, but it depends on how old you are, really. But I know I wasn't even born. I mean, I'm 35, and I wasn't even born when Pac-Man released, you know. So I just think that's really interesting. I know I spoke about it a few times, but I just wanted to say it again. And I just died. Damn it. I think one of my favourite things about this game is when you get the Super Palace and all of a sudden the hunters become the hunted. You actually end up chasing the ghosts instead of them chasing you. And it's kind of funny, but it's also very satisfying as well. So, just to delve more into what I was saying earlier, we always like to fascinate ourselves by talking about how, like, Super Mario's like debut was actually in Donkey Kong as Jumpman. We all like to say that. We all like to kind of, you know, fascinate other people by telling them that, you know, did you know that in actual fact Super Mario appeared in Donkey Kong? But here's the thing, there wouldn't be a Donkey Kong if it hadn't been for the success of this game and games like this, Pac-Man, which predate Donkey Kong, predate Nintendo in the gaming industry. It's just like these kind of facts, like it's just they're more than just words, they're more than just facts. Like, I mean, it's gaming history. It's just, yeah, it's more than just words coming out of my mouth. You know, it's history. It's gaming history. Well, that was close. Too close. Oh, you actual... These fucking ghosts are too intelligent for my fucking little brain. Oh my god. Come on. So, fun fact, Pac-Man was a Ghostbuster. I'm joking about that. Oh, come on. Another fun but completely untrue fact about Pac-Man. The person who designed the logo for Apple also designed the logo for Pac-Man. You see, Apple, the Apple logo is an apple that was that someone took a chunk out of, right? Half-eaten, or somewhat eaten apple. Well, the logo for Pac-Man, like Pac-Man's design is a half, kind of like a half, but like I'm really fucking this up, aren't I? A pizza with one slice removed. That is your fun but completely untrue fact about Pac-Man. I'm going to make that. I'm actually going to make that a recurring thing now on Classic Hits Gaming. I'm going to confuse people because they're not going to know like which piece of trivia. That's what I should actually do. Actually, I should start like kind of like just sprouting trivia, and then like at the end just say to people like which was true and which was false. Nah, I'll tell people whether they were true or not. Fun fact, I created this game. True or false? Hint, I wasn't even born when this game came out. Oh my god. Gangbanged. Ah, my God. WAKA WAKA, Power Slave, how are you doing? Why is Pac-Man not obese? All the stuff he eats, because he automatically shits out the pellets. It's like a fucking, it's a one-way system. Is Pac-Man's digestive system? It's supposed to same for fucking all of us. Yep, the pellets just go in his mouth, straight out his hole. Yep. That is a fun but completely untrue piece of trivia about Pac-Man. Welcome to Classic Hits Gaming, my friend. As always, this is your home of the three greatest decades of the gaming industry: the 80s, the 90s, and the noughties. It doesn't get any more classic than Pac-Man, originally released in 1980 on arcade. This is my third session. I fiddled around with the screen settings. I zoomed in a bit, so I hope you like that. And thank you so much for your continued support with Classic Hits Gaming. It means a lot, much appreciated. Yeah, how is life with you, my friend? So today is I'm gonna repeat today, not today, but this session's Pac-Man trivia. I'm gonna repeat it. Pac-Man was made by a team of 9 people. Less than 10 people made this game. Less than 10 people made one of the most recognizable video game characters, franchises of all time, one of the godfathers of classic gaming, predating Donkey Kong and Mario, Nintendo in the gaming industry, and that says a lot, because a lot of us gamers, no matter what generation we're from, when we say, like, we talk about classic gaming, like Nintendo always comes up, Nintendo or Sega, but we from time to time we forget just how long video games have been around. Pac-Man released in 1980, again predating Nintendo. That's huge. Back to streaming next week for me, starting a fresh new. So you're moving away from the Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. How could you leave Lara Croft? The fuck is wrong with you? And you're not going to miss her triangular tits. Those polygon tits. But that's what game are you going to stream next? No, I'm still streaming her. Oh, nice one. I'm just also streaming Elden Ring. Oh my. Are we going to get the Hear You Rage playing Elden Ring? Because if so, sign me up. I want to see someone else rage for a change. It's always me that's doing the raging, I want to see someone else rage. I want to see just how bad I am compared to other people raging. Probably will rage more than likely. Ah, nice one. I'll be there. Now, all joking aside, apart from that, I will be there to support you because you support my channel. Before Classic Hits Gaming, you have been supporting my channel. I'm pretty sure as far back as Green Herb Gaming, actually. My channel went through a lot of changes. Yeah, Jesus Christ, it's crazy. If you actually go back and watch my first video, Jesus Christ. My name is Johnny. And I'm unique, just like my fingerprint, because everyone has a different fingerprint, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I was smoking that day. Holy shit. And the funny thing is I haven't changed the fucking bit. I'm still as random, as pointless as possible, as you can imagine. Like, do you ever just watch other people's videos, or just like listen to other people, and just see other people, and like, what the fuck are they talking about? I that's me watching myself back. Honestly. Imagine me in the 80s. I mean, I was born technically I was born in the 80s. Technically, I grew up in the 80s. Because I was born in 1988. So, like, I was like a 1-year-old baby, basically, towards the end of the 80s, basically. Because, like, I was born in November 1988, so come November 1989, like pretty much a month before the end of that decade. I was like a 1-year-old. You can imagine if I was actually born, it's like late 70s. What I would have been like in the 80s. Imagine like what I have had like a leather jacket, listening to like 99 Balloons. Was that the 80s, isn't it? Yeah. 99 red balloons. Some song. Tune. Pac-Man is kicking my ass tonight. The bastard. Fun fact, Shadow, the hedgehog, before he was actually a hedgehog, was actually a ghost in Pac-Man. But I think it was so funny. This is going, Pokey, also known as Clyde. What the fuck is Clyde? Clyde. My name is Clyde. And I'm some ride. I'm actually only just taking notice of the facial expressions on the ghosts once they realise that they've actually become the hunted. It's actually my favourite part of this game. I would argue that that type of power-up in Pac-Man, when you get, I don't know what it's called, I'm calling it the super pellet. Anyway, I would argue that that power-up, like when you pretty much become invincible and you can actually eat the ghost, would that have, I'm guessing it would have. I'm guessing it would have 100% inspired Nintendo when they would eventually make the superstar in Super Mario Bros. That would give Mario invincibility and he could just like run right through the enemies. Because again, this game predated Nintendo. There's not many games that can say that, you know? Like Pac-Man predated, before Nintendo were even in the gaming industry. Because we all know Nintendo as a company has been around for over 100 years. They were involved in all sorts. I mean, working with the Yakuza. Yes, working with the Yakuza. I'll say that again. Nintendo working with the Yakuza. Not so much working with the Yakuza, but they basically provided them, what's it called again? Hanodo, fucking hell, some Japanese cards in a Japanese card playing game, and they would basically provide them the cards. They also had love hotels in Japan, which were like hotels where you would go to have an affair, basically. Like they would facilitate. Fucking hell. This is Nintendo. I literally like so they work with the fucking Yakuza, but they've also facilitated people's affairs. That's just bizarre. Nintendo, everyone. But yeah, before they entered the gaming industry, Nintendo were doing all that kind of shit. But yeah, Pac-Man predates Nintendo in the gaming industry. It's just something I just can't seem to. Jolene. Something. Jolene. That's become my fucking theme song now, hasn't it? I just thought before the delay in reading your comment, I just saw it there. Tune. Fun fact, Dolly Parton's Jolene was actually the original soundtrack for Pac-Man. But because of technical limitations, they couldn't get it in. That's what she said. Dolly Parton, that is. That's what she said. What are you thinking? You dirty bastards. Let me just play an audio.
You're sitting there, imagining that, with a big smile on your face, you dirty fecker.
Oh, the late great Brendan Grace there. Oh, the late great. Irish comedian, singer, actor. And a co-creator of Pac-Man. A joke. Damn it. It's all Jolene's fault. Well, hello there, Dr. Banana Man 81. Welcome back to Classic Hits Gaming, my friend. How are you doing? How is your weekend going so far? Welcome to your home of the three greatest decades of the gaming industry, 80s, 90s, and noughties. This is my third session of Pac-Man, originally released in 1980 on the arcade. This game predated Mario and Donkey Kong. Doesn't get any more classic than Pac-Man, so I hope you're doing well. GL, I think you mean good luck with that. It is a nice game indeed, because it reminds us just how long video games have been around, and it also reminds us not to have our heads up. You know, sorry to be so fucking negative and blunt about it, but we all have our preferred console and preferred fucking company, and I think it's ridiculous anyway to begin with. But it was 1980. This game came out in 1980. I'm pretty sure it did anyway. I'll have to double check that now. I'm pretty sure, and I always make sure that I have my facts. But yeah, it just Pac-Man is one of the godfathers of classic gaming, and it just has us you have me confused now. It released in 1980. It was developed and released by Namco in 1980. Sorry to correct you. I'm sorry. I just want to be factual. That's all. But yeah, before Mario, before Donkey Kong, there was Pac-Man. He was some man for a man. Tough game. It really is a tough game. Sound of the police. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'll have to get into that part. Oh, what the hell? My controller. I blame my controller. I do. This game needs to be played with a joystick. I know. Oh, fuck. These ghosts are too clever. Just out of interest, I want to check something. I'll be right back. The hell? Ah, did you know that the original Ghostbusters movie came out in 1984, 4 years after the release of Pac-Man? In Pac-Man, you are fighting ghosts, but then you're battling ghosts. So, it is safe to assume that Pac-Man is the original Ghostbusters. Just saying. Something as well that I want to mention, and you'll be happy to know this is something I haven't actually spoke about already. So, guess you're actually saying to yourself, Johnny, stop repeating yourself. So Pac-Man, I'm trying to actually articulate my words here. So Pac-Man represents a time in gaming where games didn't really have a story as such. The two previous games that I streamed on Classic Gaming, Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, all have a story. In fact, 7 is known for its story, one of the greatest stories ever told in the gaming industry, which is why we have the reimaginings of those games. Resident Evil 3, tells the story of, Jill Valentine, a survivor of the mansion incident, attempting her last escape in the zombie-infested Raccoon City. There's the story there. But games like Pac-Man in the 1980s didn't really have a story. Like, it wasn't about, okay, this is Pac-Man and this is why he's going around eating dots, and these are the ghosts, and this is, well, it probably is, I'm sure, maybe in the original manual or something like that, but there's not really a story as such. It's like pretty basic stuff, it's not like a story that's like told across like 3 discs, and like 40 hours of story gameplay, story being told there. So yeah, and I mean, like, the characters, like, it's not really a character as such. It's just a yellow circle with one chunk taken away from it. So Pac-Man represents a time of gaming where there's just really no story. There's no real kind of like character story as well, and the gameplay is quite minimum. I did speak about it before, but the gameplay is quite minimum. The objective is so simple. But yeah, it's just a completely different type of game. Most arcade games were like that. No, I mean, not to say that every arcade game didn't have a story or character stories. Take Mortal Kombat, for example, which debuted in the arcades in 1992, I think. That had a story. And even every character actually had their story as well. So not every arcade game didn't have a story. But I'd say, like, particularly arcade games that were released in the 80s, they were just very simplistic, 100% focus on gameplay and getting a high score. So it's nice to be able to kind of have a change of tone on Classic gaming and go all the way back to the 80s and play a completely different kind of game compared to Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which, you know, this game doesn't have a story like those games do, or, you know, like kind of like strong kind of characters. Like Pac-Man is the main character, and it is called Pac-Man. But what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not really something you kind of take notice of, is it? Like, you're just, you know, you're just going around eating these dots. You're just trying to get a high score, and, you know, get to the next maze. Fuck it. Oh, fuck, I'm completely messed up there. I think something as well important to point out is just remind yourselves that this game released in the arcades. You couldn't just go into GameStop and say, hello, I would like to buy Pac-Man, please, and take it home and play it on your console, because this game didn't release on console originally. It was in the arcade. If you wanted to play Pac-Man, you needed to go into the arcade to play it. And, well, as you may know, you needed to put money into the arcade machines to play the games. So in order to play Pac-Man, you needed to put in coins into the arcade cabinet and play it. So every time you died, you needed to continually put in money. It isn't like nowadays where if you die, fair enough, just play again, play again, play again. So yeah, it's like, oh, I'll play it again later. You know, I'll you know, I'll go for a walk and I'll come back and I'll play it again later. No, Well, you can, but you have to go back into the arcade and put money back into it again. So that's. I mean, that's just so alien to us nowadays. You know, it's actually crazy. I mean, let's face it. I mean, there would have been gamers who, in total, like the total amount of money spent on playing Pac-Man, you know, since it released in arcades until they stopped playing it. I mean, I would argue would be in its hundreds, literally hundreds of like euro, dollar, pounds put into, and that's just one person now. I'm talking about just the one person themselves who would have actually played Pac-Man back in the day. It's insane, isn't it? Because they didn't have the luxury of playing it at home. I mean, this was before. Well, it wasn't before home consoles, because Atari would have had home consoles in the 70s, I think. That's kind of like when the first kind of video game crash happened. I think it was like games like Pac-Man is when we kind of came out of the video game crash. I'm pretty sure the video game crash occurred in like 70s, like late 70s. I think Pac-Man was after the video game crash. I think it's what kind of like got people back into gaming again, because like Nintendo kind of like followed like shortly after Pac-Man, I think, with Donkey Kong. And then later on, we obviously had the NES. That mightn't be 100% factual now, but I'm confident enough in that. So, yeah, you couldn't, point is, you couldn't bring home Pac-Man originally. Obviously, like, it would have eventually come out on multiple different consoles and whatnot. But, yeah, originally, the only way you could play Pac-Man was by going into the arcade and putting money into it. And I'm just thinking of like the amount of money spent, you know, playing Pac-Man would have been insane. So in a way, like, we complain a lot, myself included, about modern gaming, but like we talk about like how we pay full price for games and they're riddled with microtransactions, but like I don't think any of us really paid like hundreds. Well, then again, maybe we have actually, come to think of it. I'm completely just like I'm actually counter arguing myself here now, because yeah, people do pay full price. I mean, take Mortal Kombat for example, Mortal Kombat 1. Like, people pay full price for that game and DLC and everything else, and they're still paying money for like skins and stuff, like same as Street Fighter 6 and yeah, it's the same thing really. Well, on that note, that is the end of my third session of Pac-Man. Thank you so much for supporting Classic Hits Gaming, each and every one of you that takes the time to watch my live streams. I really do appreciate that. You know, taking the time out of your day to watch my live streams, much appreciated. Stay tuned for more Pac-Man sessions. I don't know how many sessions I'm going to do for Pac-Man. It's an interesting one, because with Final Fantasy VII, my objective was to finally complete that game, and that's a very long game. It's like I think it's like 35 to 40 hours If you're focusing on the gameplay, of course, it's across 3 discs. Pretty long game, has tons of story. So that's why I would have part 1, part 2. I think in total I had like 25 parts. That's why there were so many parts to Final Fight 7, because it's a story-driven game. It's you progress through the game. As I mentioned, like Pac-Man didn't really have a story, so it didn't really have kind of like it didn't need parts, so to speak. Resident Evil 3, the game that had a story at different parts of the game. You were going across different parts of Raccoon City and stuff, so I had parts to that too. So when you play a game like Pac-Man, it becomes interesting because you don't know what to do. You don't know whether to say part 1 or part 2. So that's why I call them sessions. Like Pac-Man is Pac-Man. It's pretty much like you just progress. These were games back in the 80s. This is what arcade games looked like, So like the premise remains the same. It's still Pac-Man. Even if you got to like one of the really later mazes, it would still look like they're just sort of moving around the maze, eating dots. So no matter what maze you're on, no matter how far you get into this game, no matter how high your score is, your objective will remain the same. Obviously, it will get more difficult as you go along, but your objective will remain the same no matter what maze you're on. You're eating the dots and you're avoiding the ghosts. So, yeah. So I don't know how many more sessions I have left. I do want to highlight this game. I don't want to rush this game. But I'm just letting people know I don't really know. But of course, I will let you know what's happening with Classic Gaming at all times on my community tab. But don't worry, you will, if you want to be up to date on what's next for Classic Hits Gaming, always stay tuned for my community posts. That's where I will let you know, what I have planned for this channel. So, with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with some more Pac-Man. Goodbye.